Buying in bulk is one of the best strategies to save money and avoid overpaying for everyday items. But most people think of big box stores like Sam's, Costco, or BJ's. But what if I told you there was an online marketplace that carried incredible organic products that you can't even find at those stores? Keep listening as we break down our new favorite shopping strategy on this episode of The Catholic Money Show. I'm excited to dive into this one.
Oh, yeah.
This episode is actually brought to us by TikTok. The algorithm.
Whoa.
The algorithm is what sent me down.
That's how you discovered this place, huh?
Yeah, that's how I discovered this place.
Interesting.
Yes, and the place that I'm going to share about in this episode, and we're going to break down the entire process of, is called Azure Standard. Azure Standard. I am not...
Azure
Standard.
Azure.
Azure Standard. It's a small family business. I believe they're owned in Oregon or Washington. And they started a long time ago. And we'll get into kind of what they do and what the process looks like. But I started seeing these videos on TikTok. And I was curious because some of these bulk organic goods that these people were getting, some of them were fantastic deals. Some of them were not. And I wasn't going to fall for that. But in my area, they're not. But in other areas, you know, somebody is out in a rural area and they don't live near any of these other...
Sure, no other way to get it.
They don't have other ways to get the bulk goods. They just have to go to maybe Walmart or whatever the local grocery store is, and it's going to be obviously way more per pound. So for them, it might be worth it. Me and my circumstances, some items were going to be worth it, some items were not, so I had to be a bit discerning. But we're going to break down how we went through our first purchase with Azure Standard, and we're actually gearing up to do our second purchase.
True. It's interesting, too. You said TikTok kind of brought you around to that, but then you kind of discovered we had a couple friends who were already well acquainted.
Yeah, I showed up at the pickup day, and there you know, a couple of friends of mine, which isn't shocking since I'm pretty crunchy, I guess, if you would call it that.
Yeah, I guess.
I don't know. Health conscious.
Sure.
I'm not weird crunchy.
Sure you're not.
No. Anyway, we showed up, and yeah, I saw friends. So that was fun. But then I wanted to say, why were you gatekeeping this? Why didn't you say anything? I've known you for years. Why didn't you talk about this? But it's one of those things that it really can go under the radar. So I'm not going to gatekeep. We're going to talk about it. We're going to share.
Let's do it.
Let's share. So do you want to kind of interview me on it?
Yes, please. So you found it through your friends. I guess when you looked into
Not through my friends. Wish I had.
TikTok, then
TikTok
later
influencers.
validated by your friends.
TikTok content creators.
When you came across it, when you started looking into it, or when you got on the website, what was it that made you think, oh, I might actually want to buy something here?
Goodness. Well, the thing that actually drew me to it, and this is going to reveal another layer of the crunchiness of our family and the direction we've gone in. I wanted to get einkorn wheat berries.
I figured.
So if you know, you know, but einkorn is essentially a very old, very ancient grain. It has not been genetically modified.
It's an old wheat.
Yes, very old wheat. Azure Standard has it in its organic form, so it's not sprayed with any chemicals. And I wanted to get it in its whole form so that we could begin milling the flour fresh for when we needed flour, which isn't all that often. We could get it that way. And buying it I could not get it in our local area. And if I could, it would be at maybe Natural Grocers or something, or Whole Foods, and the price was exorbitant, and it was not in bulk.
Yes.
So that is initially the content that got me looking into this.
The einkorn talk.
Einkorn talk. I was in einkorn talk and the flour milling talk. And then I started looking around at other items that were on there. And this is where I discovered, okay, a lot of these content creators, they have these giant hauls of thousands of dollars. And I think a lot of them do live in more of a rural setting. So they really can't get this easily. But I was looking at it and seeing on their website that if I could get it at Costco, Costco was the better deal. Hands down, all day long. And that probably tracks with Sam's or BJ's. I don't know about Thrive Market. That's kind of another online, but they're not bulk. So the friends that I know that do Thrive Market, they are irritated because they'll buy a snack on there and then their kids ravage it in 5 minutes and now the snack's gone. Instead of being able to buy in bulk and lock in the savings and actually have a snack that'll last a week for your family because it came in a high volume. So essentially, and their specialty is not everything's organic, but almost all of it is.
Sure.
So that's nice. And not everything that we buy at Costco, you can get a lot of things organic there, but not everything you can get is organic. So for example, the Wyman's wild blueberries that we've been buying at Costco for years, and it's one of our daughter's favorite snacks in the world. If she can just have a bowl full of wild blueberries, her day is made. And it's not organic though. So I know it's being sprayed with things. So that's not ideal, especially because she likes to eat them often. Now, they're cheaper at Costco, but if I was to get them organic frozen wild blueberries, it would be a lot more expensive. On Azure Standard, I was able to get the wild organic blueberries for basically the same price as I was paying at Costco for the non-organic. But I did have to buy, 25 pounds of them?
It was a lot. So yeah, we just have the big old box of blueberries in the freezer.
In the basement.
In the big freezer, and then we just go downstairs, kind of fill up a gallon Ziploc
bag
from time to time, because it's a lot of berries.
Yeah, at least a couple of months for us.
Yes.
I think we've got maybe one more month on those, and then I'm going to have to reorder. But we've been making lemon blueberry scones, and we've been making lots of things with those
Lots of blueberries.
Lots of blueberry. In fact, I'm actually gearing up to get they're on sale right now, the organic frozen raspberries. And I'm going to get, again, the 20-pound box. And we're in summer and smoothies and all this. So essentially, I realized, okay, not everything here is a deal. You know, I saw content creators saying, oh my goodness, that's the price on getting oats or the price on getting honey. Okay, but if you look at the price at Costco, it was better. And I didn't have to buy 30 pounds of everything.
Yes.
If that makes sense. So I can just buy it.
You thought buying at Costco
Costco is already bulk. This is intense
this is
bulk.
Next level bulk.
Yeah, you can get a vat of honey. And one of our friends actually does that.
How much?
I don't know. It was just this huge
Like a 5-gallon bucket.
Yes. She buys a 5-gallon bucket of honey at a time. And it's the only sweetener that they use use that and maple syrup.
Wow.
But again, the price for the maple syrup at Costco is the same, essentially. I think there might have been a little bit of cost savings if I did buy the bucket, but I just felt like that's just gonna spill in our pantry. A kid's gonna get into that. Like, it's not worth for me to get this huge bucket of maple syrup. But that was kind of what turned me on. I was skeptical on it. I learned about them in December, and this is gonna bring people a little bit of insights in December, and my first purchase was in April. That is very on track with Amanda. That's towing the line of early adopter for me. Because I'm not one to just hear about something and then boom, I'm there. I'm skeptical. I need to look into it. I need to research it. If I see content creators making content about something, I immediately assume they're being paid, that this is actually some crap product, that they're just trying to pan off on me. And some people will probably try to do that. Some people will be dishonest and deceptive to try to get people to do certain things through their content.
Sure, only share about something because
I wanted to sniff that out and make sure there was actually a deal here for me, because I just am not going to walk blindly into the content creator's trap.
Sure. So when you go to the website, I mean, it's pretty straightforward. You don't really need any special instructions to know how to click on categories or items or put stuff in your cart. It's pretty straightforward. But that's about where the normal shopping experience kind of ends.
Right.
So
Yes.
it's kind of a unique way of shopping for groceries. Tell everybody about that.
Yeah. So you create an account, and then essentially all month long you can shop and fill your cart, take things out of your cart. You shop when you're hungry, you overload the cart, and then you pare it down when you see your bill is $800. You kind of go back and forth. Then they'll send you a couple of emails within the 72 hours before they're going to close the cart for the month. So you've got that final little bit of a stretch. I think we've got like 6 hours here until the cart closes today for our order that would come in late June. And when that checkout happens, again, you've locked in the order, so you now pay, but this is now coming to you on a shipment sometime in the next 7 to 10 days, maybe even sooner than that. So essentially what happens is they fill the truck in Oregon. It's a semi. There might be more than one. I don't know. And then that truck just drives across the entire continental USA to different chapters where there is a Azure Standard organizer.
Yes.
We happen to have one in Omaha, Nebraska, 5 minutes down the road from us.
Thankfully.
Which is so convenient. If this was farther away, I might not do it. But it was within a reasonable distance. So then.
So the way it works is these are actually real questions because she was pretty much all over it. I looked at some stuff and said, yeah, let's get that. So I wasn't too involved in this. So the way it works, let me know if I understand this right. There's somebody, a volunteer, right?
Yeah,
and volunteer. They just say, man, I want to buy stuff from this website. Now, to make it worth Azure Standard's time and effort and all of that to truck out all that stuff to you,
gotta have enough
they want
people.
A big order. And so, I guess if you bought enough stuff, they would do it for you, but most people wouldn't. So that's then what? That person then kind of chats up their friends and all that stuff to get them kind of to go. We're going to go in on it together so that our little chapter, our order is large enough to get a truck to come. That's kind of how that works?
I'm sure it is. I can't speak into what their threshold is to make it worth it. Yeah. I can't speak into that.
But probably more than
it was already set up.
Like
it's
$200 that we spent.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. And yeah, exactly. So it'd be more than that. And I got a text message from our organizer here in Omaha, maybe 48 hours prior, just saying, okay, I had already gotten an email too, but a text message just saying, truck's going to be here at 10:15. Let's make sure we're all there on time, and let's have it be a, quick, timely process, etc.
Because a lot of the stuff, it's not just dry goods. There's frozen, like the blueberries, there's refrigerated, there's cold stuff too.
Yeah, yogurt, fresh produce.
Oh yeah, we got a huge brick of cheese.
We did. It'll probably be the last time.
Yeah, it was good.
It was 5 pounds of raw cheddar.
Raw milk cheddar.
Raw milk cheddar without any
annatto
in it. So it's just white cheddar.
The color
cheddar should be. The taste just wasn't there.
And for getting such a huge brick that was just hard to store as we ate it.
Yeah. But again, the taste wasn't amazing.
It wasn't bad.
There were other ones that I could get locally.
Yeah.
For about the same. That tastes better.
So, okay. So you put in your order. Here's a question. As you are shopping throughout the month, if it's in your cart, is it safe?
Yes.
Or do you need to buy it to lock it in? Make sure they don't run out or something?
Until the last day.
Okay.
It's safe in your cart. Now, they might run out of inventory and then it'll just flag you that that's no longer available.
Oh, okay.
It will do that. I've had that happen one time.
Okay.
If something is then on sale and you put it in your cart, it has to still be on sale when the checkout happens. And their sales run pretty long.
Can you check out whenever you want?
Yeah.
Send the order, be done with the order?
I think you could go through the checkout process. I guess I have not tried to check out early.
Sure.
So I don't know that.
Okay.
But I'm guessing I could check out whenever I'd like to.
I imagine they'd probably take your money whenever.
I don't know why they wouldn't let me check out, but they'd still probably let me alter the order.
Yes.
But you could lock in that sale price.
So, all right, everybody's put in their orders. You you select like your pickup location as part of that, or how do they know
Right.
what's going on?
Because some cities, yes, you do. You pick your pickup location.
Okay.
Some cities are going to have multiple chapters.
Mm-hmm,
We have one.
Wow, really?
I think so.
Well, good thing it's so close to us.
Yeah, it's right off I-80, main
Oh,
thoroughfare.
that makes sense.
So people within an hour, even in Lincoln, probably come for it. But
so you put in the order, you get all the messages, it's coming. So when you show up on that day, what did you see?
Well, it's forever going to be burned in my head because it was the morning of the kickoff of the conclave.
Ooh.
So I had my AirPods in my ear, and I had a live stream in my pocket.
From in the conclave?
Well, they were starting. It was that starting the conclave where everybody's got to come up and kind of say their name. And I didn't know that takes like 3 hours. So I was listening to all of that, but I could not take my eyes away. You know, if there was any amount of live stream going on, I was on it.
Nice.
So I want to say that was a Wednesday, and then our Holy Father was elected on a Thursday. So this was going into their very first vote, which, everybody anticipated was not going to be it. Mm-hmm. But in case it was, you
got to know. You got to be ready.
Yeah, so I'm here chit-chatting with all of the other adults hanging out, but I've got a live stream going on low, but I got to make sure.
You're hilarious.
That I'm in the loop.
So you show up. It's at like a park and ride.
Here it is. It was in a park and ride.
That's what it is in our area.
Or maybe a parking lot.
Sure.
And from what I gathered, some people at different locations have it. You can do whatever you want. It's the organizer who kind of sets up the system. Our system here in Omaha was a little laissez-faire.
Hey,
the guy comes to the back of the truck and just says a last name. You grab your item, you go take it, put it in your car. You might have to do that 5 or 6 times with the different items.
Sure.
Apparently other locations, everybody kind of forms a line and the guy just hands items out and it all passes down the line and gets put alphabetical order next to that family's receipt.
Interesting.
And so it's just like you go to your spot and all the stuff's there and everybody kind of helps it happen. There may or may not be a lot of strong feelings about this. From what I've gathered from the other women that were there.
Hey, sometimes people just can't stand seeing a system that's not working as hard as it could.
Optimized as possible.
Optimizers.
I personally like my own systems, but in this context, I could have cared less.
Hey, I'm just here to get my blueberries.
It's maybe going to be the difference of about 3 minutes.
Mm-hmm. And I know it's going to vary by group, but how many households were there?
Yeah, there were probably about 30 others.
Okay. And about how long did it take to go through that whole process? 10
or 15 minutes at most.
Wow.
Yeah, and it was interesting. There were some people with just a couple of items in their order. I would say mine was also on the smallish end. And then there were people who owned restaurants in the area who this is what they come and get a ton of stuff from this, where they had really big orders, where they had a lot of fresh produce. I personally wouldn't buy 50 pounds of fresh produce just because it would go bad before our family would use it. But of the things I did get, we were really pleased. So if you're joining us on TikTok, or not on TikTok, on YouTube, you can see this is an example of one thing. So they have their own private label for certain things, a lot of bagged items, a lot of canned goods. But this is powdered allulose, which is like a metabolically safe sweetener. And we've been making a switch to that. So I got that in bulk. How many pounds was that?
It's 5?
5-pound bag. So it was fantastic price compared to what.
Oh, you buy like a whatever,
one
maybe
little tiny
a
pack.
1-pound bag in the store or something.
Yeah, at Walmart. So this was a fantastic deal. We got einkorn berries.
Was it 20 pounds?
I don't know.
Bag.
20, 50, somewhere around there. We got a lot of them. Then we also got einkorn pasta. So it's literally just einkorn flour. And again, with all of the health stuff that we're doing, I'm just going to leak that I've been on a continuous glucose monitor because I've had pre-diabetes for 20 years because of a variety of issues. So I've been able to see what the results look like. And when I have the einkorn pasta, the spike is it's not a spike. It's more like a gradual rise.
You imagine it should be.
Right. And I've also had gluten issues for a really long time, over a decade, and have a couple of times tried to reintroduce just to see, and never successful. And then when I have the einkorn flour or the einkorn pasta, there has not been any issue, which has been a shock to me.
And that was, I think, the main motivation of getting into einkorn in the first place was, it's just the gluten's not as strong, all these other things. So it's,
in its whole form, there's a ton of fiber.
Yeah. So it was, so that's been cool. I think it's been fun milling.
You've loved it.
I love milling stuff.
You've enjoyed it.
So we got a mill. Yeah, a mill. That's kind of fun to play with. But I'd say, it's been a neat experience. With here, maybe this is maybe near the end of the questions. Is there like a minimum order or like a shipping fee, or is that just all?
I want to say there was a little bit of a pickup fee.
Okay.
Associated with it. I just don't remember the exact one. I should have gathered it. I want to say it was like $10.
Oh, okay. So
you kind of have to filter that in too. So it makes sense you'd order enough to make that worth it.
Gotcha.
So although if they really have a rare product, like another mom was literally just getting goat milk yogurt.
Wow.
And she got a couple of them, but she couldn't get them anywhere else.
No kidding.
No. So it was worth it to her to pay for that.
Wow. That's cool.
So anyway, there was a little tiny issue.
Oh.
I got white sweet potatoes, Japanese sweet potatoes, and we like to make different things with it. I think I made cinnamon rolls with them.
Yeah.
There was a little bit of, what do you call it, mold?
I don't really remember seeing it. But
a little bit moldy on one of them. And so I was worried it was the whole batch, but really I just cut off that little nub. And then the rest of them were absolutely
Did you ever reach
fine.
out to them about that? Or
I never did. But I was told from others that if I had, they probably would have just refunded me. No
I saw on the website somewhere if there's issues with your order, contact us within however many days or something.
So they actually, they have a sale, I think right now, on Pink Lady apples, organic.
That's a
and
good
we could
apple.
get 20 or 50 pounds of them. Woo! I'm a little nervous because what if there are issues? But we have been known to go through 20 pounds of apples in not too
20 hours
long of a time frame. Our kids absolutely love apples, so we'll see. I might put those in the cart.
Oh, look out!
I feel like I buy at least 6 or 7 pounds a week anyway.
Sure, I mean that's
so
like
this
bags.
is this would not be a stretch. But I think that they're pretty fair. If there really was an issue, they want to make it right. So. Anyway, I've been pleased. Again, you do have to do your math. You have to look into the deals. I would not assume that everything is a deal on Azure Standard. And some people, they don't want to dive into the research. They don't want to, I got to look it up on Costco, or I got to price it out. How does it do with Walmart, or if this is on sale? They don't want to look into the details of that. And so maybe this isn't for you. That's fine. Or you're just going to overpay for certain things. And I guess if you're okay with that, you're okay with that. Personally, I prefer to get the things I can't get anywhere else and the things that I can get at a better price than anywhere else.
Yeah.
So those are the things that I save for my Azure Standard orders.
Great. And, if you want to check it out, you can. If you use our link, walletwin.com/Azure, AZURE. What, you did probably get like a couple bucks or something?
Oh, I don't know.
There's probably, I imagine there's some sort of an incentive there. And then I think if you go use that and you make an order, we'll get some bucks at some point in the future. So
we're not creating content.
AzureStandard.com for the clean link. If you want to let them know that we sent you, walletwin.com/Azure. But either way, check it out. Do your math. Do your comparison shopping. And if it makes sense, well, hopefully there's a chapter near you and you can put your order in.
And let me know on social media. Tag us when you make your order and when you go do your first pickup. And let me know and join you. We live vicariously through you to see what you got in your order.
Dude, I'm just going to say, you got to get that einkorn pasta, the twisty mac.
It's
an elbow, but it's also twisty.
Really good.
It's super. It's got some to it.
Beefy.
It's so good, and it cooks really quick. So
Mm-hmm.
that's my recommendation.
There you go. Bada bing, bada boom. If you enjoyed this episode, please leave a rating, share with a friend, and we'll see you next time. Bye for now.
Bye.